Just what the doctor ordered.
You know why Gardner can now ride off to the sunset, Derek? Because Joey Gallo is a New York Yankee. The deal is expected to be finalized tonight. It's a 2-for-6 deal. The Yankees have 6 prospects going to Texas. In return, they have Joey Gallo and John King, who's a left-handed pitcher. I believe he's pitched out of the bullpen this season with the Rangers, coming back to New York. Bro, I couldn't be more happy about this deal, and I think the majority of Yankee fans are happy about it. I know that there's a few out there who are kind of like, Joey Gallo's the last thing we need. We don't need another like home run and strikeout guy. But I think what a lot of people like don't realize, Joey Gallo is a guy who's going to easily give you a 400 on base percentage every year. And put him in Yankee Stadium, we're talking about a guy who will hit 40 home runs effortlessly.
Yeah, he's going to miss pitches and hit them out of the ballpark. We've seen Aaron Judge kind of do that too, where, you know, he gets under a pitch and all of a sudden it's 15 rows deep because he's so strong. Joey Gallo is the same type of hitter. He's got that kind of ability. So what I'm looking for is just a little bit more balance in the lineup. Just you're not going to be as easy to go through Judge, Stanton, and then Sanchez or whoever they want to put there. You're going to squeeze Joey Gallo in there, and that's going to force pitchers to change lanes. You know, you bring in a righty against those righties late in the game. Well, now you got Joey Gallo in there to make a little difference. And he's also a guy high on base percentage. That should not be discounted because he's also fast.
Yeah.
You know, he gives the Yankees speed on the bases often, which is something that they don't have right now. And let's not forget his defense. He can play left field. He can play center field. He can play right field. He can play first base. He can spell Giancarlo at DH if you want to keep him in the lineup. He is a really good pickup. Was he exactly what the Yankees needed? Probably not. I would have probably preferred Adam Frazier, you know, since we know he was available now. But I would, you know, Joey Gallo is near the top of my list.
I agree, 1,000%. I think that that's something that a lot of people don't really take into account, right? All the tools that he has. An elite defender, an elite arm, the fact that he could play all 3 outfield positions. It's huge. Also, apparently, Jack Curry just tweeted out that now, like, the Joey Gallo trade is kind of inching to being finalized. The deal's kind of changed up a little bit. It's Joey Gallo and Joely Rodriguez, who's a left-handed arm, I believe, for 4 minor leaguers: Glenn Otto, Ezekiel Duran, Josh Smith, and Trevor Hauver. Bro, that would be an absolute steal. I'm sorry. I know, listen, I don't think anybody in the chat could say that that's a bad deal for the Yankees. We're talking about not one guy the Yankees are giving up who is either a top 10 prospect or someone who would make an immediate impact on this Yankees team. Bro, 4 minor leaguers for Joey Gallo, and I'm not really too familiar with Joely Rodriguez, but I mean, I consider that an absolute fleece on Brian Cashman's behalf.
Can somebody in the chat pull up Rodriguez's stats? Because I'm not familiar either. But, you know, this is definitely a win for Cashman, I think. If you're looking at the prospect package, the one guy that irks me a little bit is Josh Smith. But, you know, a good baseball trade should hurt a little bit. I've heard many GMs say that over the years. When you make a trade, both sides should feel like they gave up something they didn't want to give up. The Rangers are obviously giving up their biggest trade deadline asset. The Yankees are giving up a bunch of guys who I feel like are the guys that get invited to spring training every year and play for a few weeks, and then you realize that they're not as good as you thought they were, and then they're, you know, sent down for the regulars. Josh Smith is one of those guys, though. I've really liked what I've seen from him highlights-wise. He's got a really good quick swing. He's a contact hitter. To me, he's somebody that the Yankees should have tried to keep, and I'm sure they did try and keep him. But ultimately, I think I make this deal 100 times out of 100.
Easily. I mean, listen, I know like Josh Smith is a guy with a lot of talent, but if we kind of look at the Yankees organization right now and kind of where they're going in the future, I didn't really see him playing a huge role. But as far as Joely Rodriguez goes, 161 River Ave says he was 1-3, 5.93 ERA. He's a 29-year-old lefty free agent in 2023. So I guess he just seems like one of those random guys that's a throw-in. The Yankees are probably like, we're not going to give you 4 for 1. Throw in a random reliever, and we'll kind of take him as well. But overall, this is probably better than what I expected as far as like a potential Gallo package went. And especially what we were hearing out of the reports, right? I know yesterday a report came out that the Rangers were looking for, I think, at least 2 top 5 prospects in return for Joey Gallo. So I don't know if their market just completely plummeted in the past 24 hours or so, but I think John Boy tweeted out earlier Apparently the Braves and the Blue Jays were the frontrunners for Joey Gallo up until a few hours ago, and the Yankees kind of just really upped their offer. So if this is what the offer that the Rangers expected, I can only imagine what the Yankees' original offer was, because I still consider this a fleece.
Yeah, I agree with you. It does seem like Brian Cashman often gets criticized for making low ball offers, or, you know, he'll meet with a free agent or something and they'll have dinner and they'll go see a Broadway show and he'll give him a hand job in the back of his limo, but he doesn't make him an offer, you know? So I feel like Brian Cashman, he tries to pry guys away for as little as possible. So it doesn't surprise me that he was a low bidder, but the fact that he was able to get this deal done, this deal agreed to, it's a good sign. Not only do you win this deal probably, and he's definitely improved the team, but he saved some of the other prospects. Like now you could use a Medina or a Hill to get somebody else, somebody big if you need to. Clearly the Yankees still feel like they have a shot at this wild card.
Yeah, and
I don't
rightfully so.
I don't think the division is realistic, but the wild card I think is very realistic. And if you have Garrett Cole in a wild card, I don't care who you're throwing, I'm taking the Yankees.
Yeah, no, I would have to agree with you 1,000%. And I think also, I mean, you look at the lineup construction now. I think the Yankees easily have one of the best lineups in baseball. Now, obviously on paper, that is true. But also, I mean, also if you look at production this year, that might not be the truth. But I think I kind of say that being that I think putting Gallo in the lineup makes every single guy in that lineup better. Just because I don't think you're going to have to deal with Rougned Odor in the 3-hole anymore. So then Rougned Odor then becomes your 7-hitter, maybe your 8-hitter. And also it improves the lineup drastically because Brett Gardner no longer has to become an everyday player. He might only play a handful times a week now. I think Greg Allen should still probably be your center fielder, but that's a topic we could discuss in a little bit. But I think just adding one of the best left-handed hitters in baseball just fortifies a Yankees lineup that desperately needed to add a big bat. And I think Joey Gallo is that big guy. I don't listen. The title of today's episode that we're doing here is kind of what's next. Do I think that a Trevor Story deal is going to happen? Probably not. But I do think that other moves can be anticipated in order to kind of just build on this Gallo trade. What do you think?
You know, I'm of two opinions on Story. I do want the defensive upgrade. I don't think he's going to be as big of an offensive plus as people think, because he's coming from Colorado. He's joining a new league, so he's going to need to adjust a little bit. He's going to be playing in a ballpark with a very deep left center field, and everything I've seen suggests that he hits a lot of his home runs to left field. So I'm a little bit worried about his offense, you know, maybe even taking a step back. But I also had a good point that I read on, it was either Reddit or Twitter, where somebody said, well, maybe his drop-off was due to Nolan Arenado not hitting behind him anymore, which makes a lot of sense. So, I mean, what happens if you put him in front of Aaron Judge? You know, Trevor Story, Aaron Judge, Joey Gallo, Gary Sanchez.
That would be ridiculous.
Gio Urshela, Rougned Odor, John Carlos
Stanton. There you go.
I'm dropping Stanton. You got to hit a lot better to be in my top of the order, baby. And then you threw off my chain of thought, but you know, that's I think Gleyber Torres, 9. You know, that to me, that's a pretty disgusting lineup. Then you're really talking about the lineup lengthening out, and you keep. I think Allen should stick around and be either the center fielder or the 4th outfielder. And you know, I really think that the Yankees need to take advantage of this next homestand if they acquire somebody and just let Gardner go. You know, if it happened in May, it would have been a little more insulting, but it's August. He's gotten to play the bulk of the season. He's probably played more games than he planned on playing anyway.
Most out of any Yankees outfielder.
Yeah. So let's let him walk off into the sunset, as Sawbelly says, and tip his cap and get his watch and his rocking chair. And let's go get a ball player and make a run at this thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a few names out there. And one name that I do want to throw to you that I think is very enticing for the Yankees. And obviously we wouldn't have really been satisfied with him as far as like a big move and like the impact move here. But Max Kepler. Now, obviously I wasn't really looking at him as like the big fish now. But if you want to go out and get Max Kepler to be like your starting center fielder now, and you have a starting outfield of Joey Gallo in left, Max Kepler in center, and then Aaron Judge in right, I am so satisfied with that. And I don't think the price will be too high on Kepler because he hasn't really been that good since 2019. So I think that's a huge improvement over Gardy. And then it kind of just your whole theory plays out, right? Greg Allen then becomes your fourth outfielder, and then you could just give Gardner the boot and have him retire into the sunset. So I think Max Kepler could be a name to watch. I don't really know what the Minnesota bullpen is looking like this season, but it's very possible that we could see like another 2-for-3 situation, for example. The Yankees could throw Minnesota, I don't know, maybe they throw them one of their top 10 prospects, and then just a couple of 2 like lower level guys, just in order to get that deal done. But at bottom line of what I'm saying here, the Yankees surely aren't done. I think they're done as far as like big fish go. I don't know if Trevor Story is going to happen, but I think a guy like Max Kepler, maybe who's like another random outfielder out there who can maybe get traded. Ben Gamel, former Yankee legend. That's possible too.
You know what? Something just occurred to me is that if they do trade for Ben Gamel, he's going to have to shave his locks, which are awesome. And now I'm trying to picture Joey Gallo shaving. Oh my God. He's going to be a weird looking dude, right?
He looks like David Arquette shaved.
Him and Rougned Odor, like, you know, they're going to be having like a contest for ugliest cast member, man.
That's so rude, bro. You can't knock Rougned Odor, like, especially the way he's been playing.
Yeah.
Like, I can't insult him in any capacity.
Michael Carbone says Gallo is a handsome man. Honestly, like, I haven't seen him without a beard in a long time, so he might very well be.
He might be, but I think, to be honest with you, like, obviously I want the Yankees to kind of abolish the facial hair policy. That's not happening, especially just for Gallo. But someone did arise a little question in my chat earlier when we were doing like a little watch party. Do you think they're going to let him wear number 13? There's no chance, right?
I think they should. I think they should.
If there was anybody you're going to give it to, I think this would be the time.
A-Rod sued the team, okay? A-Rod was a dick to the Yankees. They've done him a favor by not handing it out for the last few years. They've shown him enough respect. He's not Yankees royalty the way that Paul O'Neill. You know, Paul O'Neill's number 21 is not retired.
You want to say it to his face, Derek?
I'll say it to his purple ass lips. You know,
say it to Derek. Say it to his face.
You're not royalty, baby. You're not royalty.
No, that's just. I'm gonna be honest with you. Rally Rod right here.
Oh, that's
Derek,
Rally Rod. Oh, Rally Rod. Okay.
I don't know how familiar you are with Rally Rod, but this man right here has won the Yankees at least 3 games so far this season, and I think he's the reason we're gonna make the playoffs.
I don't know if anybody in the chat has seen my video that I put up tonight, but I introduced Carl, the newest member of the Yankees universe, my mannequin. Carl is named after Carl Pavano, who famously didn't play for the Yankees. So I named him Carl because he just takes up space and just sits there. So that's kind of where that. So that's my little. We both have our own little rally monkey over here.
It's kind of strange, but you know that's what we got to do in this point of the season. Also, by the way, retire number 13, please. Hashtag Rally Rod's a goat. Like Derek, usually I don't believe in like jinxes and all these stupid little things. Ever since we started bringing Rally Rod on the streams, the Yankees have been doing awesome. I'm just throwing that one out there.
Somebody says that A-Rod is stalking J-Lo. How many fucking fiancés has J-Lo had? She collects engagement rings like they're like the thing that
like they're ring pops.
Like they come in the prizes that come in cereal boxes or whatever.
So now, Derek, I have one question. Not So Family Fun Vision says, I bet Carl doesn't have pixie dust because Rally Rod does. The whole mantra of him is that he's so dusty that it's kind of like magical dust. Does Carl have dust on him?
No, Carl is pristine. He just came out of the box today. But Carl will get customized over the years. I'm gonna get some Martian glasses. You know how Jason Dominguez wears those big ass glasses? I'm gonna put those. He wears like these humongous.
Did you see his Spider-Man mask?
Oh, it was hilarious.
Good stuff.
I love seeing just some young kids on the team with some energy. But I'm gonna get the Jason Dominguez sunglasses, not the real ones. I'll probably get some knockoffs because I'm not gonna get an expensive pair and put it on the thing. But I might get him a little world championship belt so we can have like win the belt for Carl something. We're gonna be rolling out some fun stuff as we try and make a run here. It's all about a pennant race, man.
No, I know.
You've probably never seen the movie Major League?
No, I have. That's one of the few movies I've seen. Yeah.
Do you remember when they had the statuette of the owner and they would rip like little pieces off and she was like in like some tassels on her boobs and like that's what we're doing right now. Like we're trying to bring the juju of the universe together to push the Yankees over the line. They haven't shown me enough energy this year, so we have got to inject it into this Yankees biosphere.
Bro, it's so unfortunate because, like, you remember the whole jacket thing that lasted like 2 days before Altuve just crushed our dreams. I was so ready to buy one of those jackets. I'm so glad I didn't because I thought that was going to be like the rallying cry for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Thank God I didn't waste like $150 on one of those jackets. But Derek, now that listen, Gallo is a New York Yankee. I don't want to hear Andy Martino being like, oh, it's not happening, whatever. 99% positive it's going to happen. So now I guess we could kind of look to how many hours are we away from the trade deadline? I would say probably like 37, maybe, if my math is correct. That sounds about right. I don't know. Chat's gonna correct me.
I'll be honest with you. I went to a bar tonight with my friend to watch a movie, and I'm in no condition to do that kind of math. So,
well, I'm never in that condition to do math. So I'm just saying. But now let's say like the Yankees had to acquire one more guy, and they only had one more trade. Who is your number one guy? Are you going after a reliever, a starter, an outfielder? Who are you going after?
Honestly, I don't want to give up too much because I feel like the season is still a very difficult uphill climb. If I'm the GM, I'm going after Ben Gamel. He likes to deal with the Pirates. Gamel is a former Yankee. He's a left-handed hitter. He's a good defender. He hits for a little bit of contact. He's got some speed. You know, he's relatively healthy from what we've seen. I think he would fit in nicely as a type of complementary player, you know, in that outfield that we could use.
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to say no. Now, I would like Gamel only like if he was like a little bit of a supplemental kind of thing. But if I'm only getting one more deal, I'm getting a pitcher. I think the Yankees lineup as constructed right now, I'm pretty confident in it. Obviously, like you said, they could use like another bat. But I think if I'm going after one guy and one guy only, I think I'm going to get Jose Barrios. I think I'm getting Jose Barrios simply because I think that that's kind of like your solidified number two. Obviously, I would go after Max Scherzer if that was kind of realistic, but now we know he wouldn't be accepting a deal to the Yankees. But I think Jose Barrios would make the Yankees rotation just even more solid than it currently is. It allows everyone else to kind of move down a peg, right? You don't have to rely on Jameson Taillon to be your number two. It allows a little bit more breathing room for Severino and Kluber when they return from their injuries. So imagining Yankees rotation going into a playoff series, assuming you win the wild card game, Cole, Barrios, Taillon, Montgomery, Herman. And that's not even including Kluber and Sevy, who I think Kluber would probably be in the bullpen, but imagine Severino. I mean, Kluber would be in the rotation as like a six man, I guess, or a long man out of the bullpen. I don't know. But Severino coming out of the bullpen would be absolutely dominant. Or if you want to go on the flip side of things, even throwing Herman out of the bullpen, I think Herman would have elite stuff out of the bullpen in a postseason situation. So I know that there's not really like any stellar relievers on the market, but I think the Yankees can improve their bullpen by adding starting pitching. And it's kind of like the reverse effect of what we've seen from them in previous years when rather than improving their starting pitching, they would improve their bullpen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so the thing about Severino is that I always felt like he could be a top-level starter, like a Justin Verlander type of pitcher, but he's missed so much time now. He's missed almost 3 full seasons now. When he comes back, he'll probably make a couple of starts, but I would definitely 1,000% put him in the bullpen for the playoffs. If you get to the playoffs, I mean, I don't want to count our chickens before we hatch, before they hatch. But if you do have him out of the bullpen, he can give you multiple innings of 100-mile-an-hour fastball with a wipeout slider. He could potentially give you an entire trip through the order, you know, if you need it. I mean, let's say you get to a game 3 and somebody doesn't have it. Let's say Domingo Germán can only go 5 innings, or Jameson Taillon's arm is starting to tire by that point because he hasn't pitched in a couple of years. You might need that bridge that's the 6th, 7th, maybe into the 8th inning. We haven't been able to count on Chad Green as much this year, like it or not. I think he'll come around, but, you know, he may not. You know, it's a long season. He only had a short amount of work last year, a small amount of work. So I think we're going to see guys get tired. So getting Severino and Kluber back, and I don't think Kluber's going to go to the bullpen. I think he's a starter all the way. But getting Severino back and sticking in the bullpen gives the Yankees a fresh arm that is probably as good as any fresh arm that anybody's going to bring up.
Yeah, listen, I think it's going to be very interesting. I think whoever's kind of counting on Luis Severino to come back and be like the ace that he was before getting injured, I think that's just completely delusional. And I think anybody who is thinking that, I think you just don't understand how injuries work. The fact that this dude kind of hasn't really been on a major league mound since 2019, I have zero expectations. Like if Luis Severino comes back and he's serviceable, I think that would blow past my expectations. But I think the whole key of this here is just making it to the ALDS. That's all we need to do, Derek. And it's kind of easier said than done, but I don't think it's that difficult to actually do, right? Because you have Garrett Cole now for a wildcard game. That's the main difference from wildcard games of years past, especially 2017, 2018. You're throwing out Garrett Cole in a one-game wildcard. You're probably going to be on the road too, so I think it means that much more. But I wish we didn't have to do it. But I think going into a wildcard game, even against the Rays, the A's, I don't really care who we're playing. I think I'm fairly confident in us winning that game.
Let me give you a couple other things that this Gallo trade does. He's apparently a really, really good and fun clubhouse guy.
Yes.
This team doesn't look like they're having a ton of fun right now. And I would argue that even though Didi Gregorius is not the player he once was, the team definitely lost something just from the human energy, chemistry sort of thing when he left. We've seen a couple of guys come in and have that. You know, Rougned Odor has that. But Gallo could be another force. Like if he comes in and gets off to a hot start, maybe pimps a home run, maybe there's some kind of a thing between a couple of teams, like in a game where it spawns like a jacket type of thing. Like, he can bring that energy, just another great human being in that room that can change the trajectory of the team. All you need to do from here on out is win like another 2 games per week than you did the first half. Just play really, really well, and you can get the wild card. That's all you really need to do.
Yeah, it's true. I want to throw up a couple donos here. Shout out to Kyle Johnson with a $5 dono. Appreciate you, my man. He says, what a night to be a Yankee fan. Like I said, one of the best nights of the season for the Yankees. Feels like a new season. Keep up the great work, Pat and Derek. Appreciate you, Kyle. No, I agree 1000%. This is one of the best nights to be a Yankee fan. And the fact, like, I don't even think the Yankees are done, simply because, like I said, they still have all of their top 10 prospects. They still have so much room to work with in that sense. I don't think that they're going to make a big deal, but I think that they're not done. I think the best has yet to come for the Yankees this year. And I've been saying so long that I didn't think this team was a postseason team. I didn't think that this team was going to be able to make a run. But I said that it all depended on what they did the trade deadline. And now here we are. They've already made a major deal for Joey Gallo. I think that they still need to do more. But as of right now, I'm looking at this roster, and I do think that it's very, very possible, especially with the teams in front of them, that they could make that second wild card and make a serious run. I think that it's very possible.
Yeah, I mean, and we should spend a little bit of time talking about tonight's game, too. I actually missed the first few innings of the game.
Forgot there was a game tonight.
Yeah, so the Yankees picked up a win against the Tampa Bay Rays, and I didn't do a live recap like I usually do. Just to, full disclosure, I missed the first few innings of the game. So typically I don't miss many games a year. I've maybe since 1992 missed a handful of games in total. And usually if I can't be there for the beginning of the game, I'll at least start from the beginning later on. So that was my plan tonight. I went to go see Jaws. It's my favorite movie. And then halfway through, I started getting these text messages that the Yankees got Gallo. And instead of like enjoying being disconnected from the game, and just kind of like, okay, I'm taking a break. I've earned a little vacation night to watch my favorite movie with one of my best friends. Instead of enjoying it, I was thinking, I can't wait for this damn movie to end. Blow up the shark, blow up the shark. I want to go talk about Joey Gallo, blow up the shark. And so I got home and it was the 7th inning, later than I thought. So I missed all of Nestor Cortez's performance. So I think we need to do a hashtag belt for who should have won the player of the game. Is it okay if we do that on your channel?
Go for it. Go for it.
So in the chat, since I missed most of the game, I want to hear who is your vote for the player of the game. Do the hashtag belt, and I will award it tomorrow on Morning Yanks when I recap this game and talk about the Joey Gallo deal.
Chat, I think everyone needs to vote for Rally Rod for the belt. Make Derek give Rally Rod the belt. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, no. Tonight's game was definitely fun. To be honest with you, I missed like the first few innings of the game as well because I planned on going out tonight, but I ran home once I heard that the Yankees were trading for Joey Gallo. But yeah, Nestor Cortez. I guess Nestor did pitch pretty well. He only gave up one run. And then after that, the bullpen pitched pretty nicely. That's kind of a tongue twister there.
Why was Judge out of the game in the?
So apparently he was undergoing medical testing from COVID. Now I don't know, like. It sounds a little bit weird to me simply because, like, why'd you put him in the lineup in the first place? You know what I mean?
Sounds to me like bad Taco Bell.
Yeah, I have no idea, but at least that we did see him in the game tonight. Or else, that would have started to raise a lot of red flags because I saw a lot of people, bro, the crazy people originally, they're like, oh, Judge was traded for Gallo. like people think before you talk, please. Like Aaron Judge is not going anywhere. But also something that I was maybe buying into a little bit is the reason that the Yankees did trade for Gallo is because they thought that something was seriously up with Judge. And thankfully that's not the case. I think what happened tonight where he was undergoing medical testing, quote unquote, whatever, that's definitely the best case scenario as far as like what could have happened.
Can I just give you like how the heart attack that I had? So when I was getting ready to go into the movie theater, I ordered my food and whatnot, and I was getting ready to put away my phone, and I saw that Judge was scratched from the lineup. So I actually tweeted that, Judge removed from the lineup, and then I set my phone down. And then when I started getting the Gallo thing, I said, did we trade Judge and get Gallo? Like
Could you imagine that?
I was literally going to go put Brian Cashman in the trunk of my car. Like, but seriously, like that, I almost had a heart attack because like my mind was doing all these things. I was like, did we trade Judge for Gallo? Did we trade Judge and get Gallo to replace him? You know, like, or is Judge hurt? Like my mind was going on. I couldn't enjoy Jaws, man. I couldn't enjoy it.
Listen, I wouldn't be able to enjoy myself either. That's why I was like, if I'm staying out right now, my night's just going to be ruined. So I'm going home and I'm hopping on live and we're talking about this Gallo trade. That's the only way to live life. Yankees are always my number one priority. I don't care what goes down. The Yankees are always number one. But yeah, I mean, tonight's game couldn't have gone any better. Like, bro, winning an extra inning game tonight felt like game 7 of the World Series for the Yankees, if we're being honest with each other. And I think every game for the rest of the season is going to start to have that vibe too, because the Yankees have to keep winning games. And I think the best part of this whole thing is right after this Rays series, like the Yankees schedule gets pretty light, and they already won this series against the Rays. You have Cole on the mound tomorrow going for the sweep. It is a Thursday day game, which I hate. But Derek, let me read you the Yankees' upcoming opponents. They have a 3-game series against the Marlins, 3-game series against the Orioles, 4-game series against the Mariners, and then a 3-game series against the Royals. So our schedule is looking pretty light. And then after that, you face the White Sox and the Red Sox and the Twins. But I mean, for the next 3 or 4 series, the Yankees can capitalize and kind of, by the time they do play the White Sox, they could either gain a lot of ground in the division, which it might be out of question right now, but I still think it's possible. Until they're mathematically eliminated, I'm going to say it's possible. And also, they could possibly be in the second wildcard spot by a week from now. So I think you just got to capitalize on the bad teams, right?
Yeah, I'm still not at the point where I'm confident yet. They've played better. I thought they should have won probably 2 out of 4 against, if not 3 out of 4 against Boston. And now it's looking like they have a chance to sweep Tampa Bay, but coulda, woulda, shoulda, until they can execute for about 2 weeks. What the Yankees really need is one of those streaks like in Moneyball where you get like 20 straight. Like, I don't know if they're going to win 20 straight, but give me 13 straight. Give me 13 straight wins. Go on a run and make this thing fun. How great would it be to go into September down 2 games to the Red Sox and in the wild card, like give us like saying, give us a chance at the Red Sox. Come on, bring it.
I know.
Outplay them by 2 games that month. That's what I want to see. I want to see the Yankees get hot in August, win 13 straight, win 15 out of 17, something like that.
That's all I want. Like, I just want to see the Yankees have like just a miraculous run. I feel like they go on one of those runs every season, and we just haven't seen it this year. It seems like every time we think that the Yankees are on like the verge of getting on one of those serious hot streaks, then all of a sudden they have like one of those heartbreaking losses, and then they take 2 steps back and they're back at like the starting point. You know what I mean? So I think it's about damn time. Now maybe like these new acquisitions can kind of inject some life into this team, but I need to see the Yankees go on one of those hot streaks and maybe make a run at the division. I know a lot of people are kind of just counting them out of there. But how many games back are they right now?
I'm not looking at the standings. I think they're 7.5, maybe 8 games back.
They're 8.5. They're 8.5 out of the division.
That's a long way.
It's a lot of games, but there's also it's a lot of games back, but there's also a lot of games to still be played, right?
You can pick up 5 or 6 in a month, like if you play really well against a team that's also playing well. Sorry, I got to fix my light here. The Red Sox are also playing well, and you know, if they continue to play well, it's going to be difficult. But the Red Sox, if you look at what the computers say, they've kind of overplayed what they should have, and they might regress to the mean a little bit. But they are getting Chris Sale back, you know. So
yeah,
you know, I'm just going to go with the John Sterling thing. You can't predict baseball, Susan. I just want the Yankees to have I just want them to be in the dance this October, because if you're in the dance, anything can happen.
Isn't that crazy that, like, just the acquisition of Joey Gallo now, how's this all of a sudden within 24-hour period, we're like, well, you know what? Now maybe the Yankees are in the division again. It's just a complete mentality change. And I think what a lot of people don't realize is, like, if you don't think that thought is kind of in the Yankees clubhouse now, that like, oh, like this team actually believes in us to go out and get like one of the best left-handed hitters in baseball, you're wrong if you don't think the Yankees clubhouse is absolutely pumped right now thinking about this acquisition.
To be fair, I'm not saying that the Yankees are back in for the division. I don't think they really have a great chance at the division. It's still mathematically possible, but you do have the ability to go on one of those streaks. The Yankees need, like most seasons, you don't need a 15-game win streak. You could get by with a couple of 8-game win streaks mixed in through the season, but the Yankees really haven't had a chance to rattle those off. So yeah, they need a 15er right now. They need a 15, they need an 18, something like that, which is statistically improbable, but not impossible.
You know what else would suck? If, you know, like a team like the Rays, the Red Sox kind of just like one up the Yankees here, and they make a deal even bigger than Gallo, right? What if the Red Sox kind of just come out of nowhere, right? They're like, well, you know what? We're landing Max Scherzer. Or like the Rays come out of nowhere and they're like, you know what? We're landing Kimbrel and we're landing Rizzo from the Cubs, for example. It worries me a little bit in that capacity that, like, if any of these teams do make drastic improvements like that the Yankees might need to make another move, and that might not even be possible, especially because Joel Sherman just tweeted out, if no money is changing hands between the Yankees and Rangers in this trade, Gallo costs about $2.3 million towards the luxury tax. Rodriguez is 1.02. And that would pretty much take the Yankees to the $210 million doorstep. Not much more maneuverability unless they decide to go over the threshold or other teams eat money. So it seems like unless the Yankees want to go over the luxury tax, they don't really have much more room to work with.
It's just weird how they dropped Sessa, who was having a pretty good year, and they picked up two guys who are not having such a good year. You know, I guess they just don't believe in stats when it comes to relief pitchers. It's like, you know, that's one of those examples where the analytics of what the pitchers throw and stuff really comes into play. Well, we can use this guy's pitch in these situations and that type of thing. So it's just, I don't think that they're going to go above the 210. I just don't see Hal doing that, but it's nice to see them try and do something.
Unless you find a way to unload Hicks, I don't really see it happening. I want to throw up this dono here from Jordan Roberts. Shout out to you, Jordan. Appreciate the $5 dono. You're the man. He says, what do y'all know on John King that we also picked up in the Gallo trade? So apparently we didn't pick up John King. The names were kind of reversed. They picked up Joely Rodriguez instead of John King. So apparently he's a left-hander. I believe they said he was 29 years old, has over a 5 ERA this season. So there's that. But Derek, before we do wrap things up for this postgame, I want to ask you one more question. What do you think about the Clay Holmes deal? Because also, I mean, that's kind of a deal that kind of resulted in Justin Wilson and Luis Cessa being traded to the Reds, a deal that I'm not too happy about. If it kind of came down to it, I would have probably preferred to keep Cessa over trading for Clay Holmes, and also at the same time attaching like a decent prospect with Justin Wilson. And then in that sense, I think your bullpen is even better than it is now. I just don't really see the reasoning behind attaching Cessa to the Wilson deal when I feel like you could have attached like a pretty prospect and you probably could have gotten the deal done as well.
I used to dislike Luis Cessa, but I've come to respect what he does over the past, you know, season or so. He's been really solid last year and this year. He had those 2 great innings against the Astros in the ALCS a couple of years ago. You know, I've just come to respect him a lot more. And I think the Yankees traded away a gamer. You know, maybe they see something medically that they don't like. You know, I mean, there's a lot of things that we don't really know. I do think that this guy Clay Holmes has interesting stuff. I like ground ball pitchers, and he gets more ground balls than anybody. And I think being on the same staff and sitting in the bullpen with Zach Britton, he might be able to learn a lot from Zach Britton and develop into an elite ball player, elite pitcher. That's just one of those like human things that's not inside the analytics. That's like one of those things that we don't see behind the scenes that could be a factor. So that's one way I'm looking at it. I'm a little disappointed that we gave up Hoy June Park. I'm not going to lie that I'm higher on him than a lot of the scouts are, because you know, I just think that seeing a guy start mashing all of a sudden, and he's not a steroid case, it tells me he's figured something out. It tells me he's figured out how to drive the baseball. And I thought I would have rather seen him give him 50 at bats. Let's see what he does. You're telling me he can't do Tyler Wade's job? You're telling me he can't do Tyler Wade's job, who got thrown out at second again, by the way, tonight on the bases, another freaking out on the bases. Tyler Wade. Are you kidding me?
Bro, I have this dude in the chat. His name's Jalen. He thinks Tyler Wade's the most inspirational guy in baseball. He's not gonna like that rant. He's not gonna like that rant at all.
Well, you know, you don't have to like everything I do.
No, but I agree 1000%. I think that I'm a little bit disappointed that the Yankees did part ways with Hoyjun Park. I think that he's one of those guys that I think they could have gotten a lot more out of. And I think it's pretty ironic that within the span of 24 hours, they trade Hoyjun Park and Luis Sessa, two guys that I think were completely underrated in this organization. And I think that it's really unfortunate that they weren't really utilized properly. Luis Sessa, I think he's a guy who easily could have been more used in kind of more high leverage situations. And like you said, I think Hoyjun Park is one of those guys who I think could have been much better utilized than giving him one at-bat at the major league level. I mean, give him some of the at-bats that Tyler Wade gets. Give him some of the at-bats that Brett Gardner got this whole time. I think it's unfortunate, but I think on the bright side of things, I guess you kind of look at it like these players are maybe going to be able to flourish elsewhere, because they definitely weren't going to be flourishing in the Yankees organization. But Derek, before we do wrap things up tonight, is there anything else you would like to touch on?
I'd like to touch on my pillow, man. It's getting kind of late. It
is past your bedtime, right?
Dude, I have a job, asshole. Look, so
same.
So here's the thing. The last few hours have been a whirlwind, and it's just been exhausting. And I'm looking forward to just getting some fresh thoughts tomorrow when I'm waking up. So I'll be back in the morning with something.